All right, so I have launched the poll and you all are required to answer. Okay, a few answers up till now. Are you able to answer, please? 551 is still a few remaining. Okay, there is only one who doesn't teach, whereas the others are into teaching. Are you all done? Okay, so 50% people are into online teaching and the other 50% people are in person teaching. Okay, that's good to know about it. Right. So I am in conversation with most of the teachers, and that's good to know. Well, I have seen the registration forms as well, and I know that you all are working at very much prestigious educational organizations. So you all must be really very good at teaching and good at the communication skills as well, because there is a lot of screening at the time of interview when you are going for mm, applying for the job at the school and anywhere else. But as we all are here to learn, to discover, and to explore more, so we'll be polishing those skills and we'll be knowing more how much effective we are. This session is surely going to help you out in learning effective strategies to improve communication skills and to make most of your teaching sessions. So no matter where you go, you need to be an expert at communicating. Basically, the words that you say are comparatively less important than the way you utter them. So just because they can be misinterpreted if they are being said in a different tone. So of course, having good communication skills is really very important. In today's session, we'll be covering the following things, and it is what is communication. There are some myths and realities. We'll be discussing those too. What is the effective communication? Then the role of teacher's personality in communication, 7 strategies for effective communication in the classroom, and then at last a checklist to ensure to scale your own teaching skills and the effective communication. So you all may have brilliant ideas, but if you can't get them across, then your ideas won't go anywhere. So you need to make sure that you have the skill to get your ideas across. I would like to know the definition of communication. So what do you think communication is? You all are required to reply me in the chat box. And I would like to know what is your definition of communication. Okay, someone is saying convey your message, interact with someone. That's great. Yes. To effectively deliver your thoughts and instructions for the students, enhancing information. Okay. The way how to convey your message. Okay. Way of exchanging information, express your thoughts. That's nice. Convey your information by writing and speaking, exchange of information. That's great. Hope so you people are not Googling at the same time. Well, Peter Little says that communication is the process by which information is transmitted so that an understanding response results. What the problem with us is that we are usually relying on the transmission of the information, and we are not ensuring that if the understanding response is resulting or not. So, whenever you are communicating, make sure the purpose is not only to get the information transmitted, but you are getting the understanding as a result. Communication is the key in the classroom, and successful. Okay, someone is saying no voice. Is that so? Can you all let me know, please, if I'm audible? Okay, clear voice. I can listen you. Right. Okay, I guess there is some problem with your device. You can try switching it. Okay, right. That's perfect. Okay, so communication is basically the key in the classroom, and the successful teaching is generally the one which requires only 50% knowledge. So your subject knowledge and your matter is just 50%, whereas 50% is your communication skills. And as a result, a teacher should be proficient in the all four modes of communication. And what are the all four modes? That is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So the teachers must know then what is the right time to listen, what is the right time to speak, what is the right time to read, and what is the right time to write. What happens here is that a lot of teachers does it in this way, and what they do here is that they just simply pass on the information, they just deliver the lecture, they are not getting it sure if their message is being done across or not. And they, a lot of university teachers does this, that they just share their powerpoints, and nowadays in online sessions this is being the case that people are sharing their powerpoints and not delivering the lecture. I'm just exploring these things from my relatives as well, and they just told me that even in schools, colleges, and universities, it's the case that live sessions are for a shorter time, and they are more relying on the recorded videos, and they are more relying on sharing the powerpoints. So basically you need to make sure that what is basically the right time to speak, and it's not simply that you are just sharing the slides, you are just sharing the powerpoints, but you are making it understandable too. And if it's being able to do, then this has been proven to impact the success students achieve in their academic lives, so as well as the teacher's own career success. If you know that how you are communicating, if you know that you are really good at communication, then of course your success is relying on that. All right, moving towards a few myths and realities. So as you shared your own definition of communication, people have their own definition of communication, but there are some myths and realities which we must discuss. The first myth is this, that communication is a conscious and a deliberate process. Um, People believe that whatever you are doing consciously is a communication. But the fact is, whatever you are doing unconsciously too includes in the communication, and it goes on at every moment of time. So if you are going for maybe the interview, whenever you are entering the room, the communication starts at from the very first time. The way you open the door, the way you sit on the chair, the way you talk, the way you discuss, the way you look, everything is included in communication. Then the second myth is we communicate through verbal as well as words only. So the reality is we communicate primarily through as non-verbal signs. This is the very important thing that the teachers and the student needs to understand. When the teacher is entering the class, the teacher needs to make sure that she or he is energetic enough and he or she is passing on positive vibes to the students, because of course the student's mood is depending on the mood of the teacher, and of course it is depending how the teacher is interacting, how the teacher is communicating. The third myth is words mean the same to everyone. So it's not basically the fact. The reality is meaning of the words lies more in perception of reality. So how you feel it, how you take it is basically the communication. It's not like the words are same to everyone. Whatever you are saying, it's not always the case that next person is taking it in the same way. Moving forward, people believe that communication is one-sided process and it is controlled by the communicator. But the fact is, communication is not a one-way process, rather it's a two-way process and it right. So it always happen and it is controlled by none. The last myth is that message sent and message received are identical, but it is not. It is depending on the reception, it is depending on the perception of the other person. It happens with all of us, not only in the class, but of course outside the class, communicating with your colleagues, communicating with your with your relatives, with your friends, with your family. It always happens. So the messages that are sent and the messages that are received are not the same, and you need to make sure that if they are same, that is basically the communication. So it means that the communication is being taking place. Moving forward, so I would like to know what is your definition of effective communication? As we have discussed all the myths and the realities, so I'm sure that you people must be clear about effective communication, but still I would like to know what is effective communication to you now? Active participation of students is effective communication for me. Well, that's a very nice definition. Okay, 7 C's. That's perfect. But I don't think so that 7 C's are being followed every time in your life. Or maybe a lot of problems occur just because we are not following the 7 C's. Isn't it? Any other definition for effective communication? The communication which can be understandable for everyone and feels pleasant. Oh, but the realities and the facts and the truths are not always pleasant. Maybe pleasant for you, but not pleasant for the other person. Exchanging ideas and thoughts, that's great. Any other definition? It depends on person to person. Yeah, of course, it depends on person to person. Okay, where message is delivered effectively, that is effective communication. Okay, interaction with people with your body language and your words too. Yeah, that is very much important. Very nice definition that you're interacting with your body language as well. Okay, so effective when you have effective listener. Okay, Anila Rafi has given very good example, a very good definition, and it's that when you have effective listener, you need to be effective communicator as well too. Right. So effective communication starts with being able to listen and not to speak. So first of all, you need to make sure that you are listening and then you are speaking at the same time. That is what effective communication is. Yes, so one of the most neglected aspects of teachers' training is thorough preparation in the diverse communication skills that are needed by good teachers in today's schools. So this part was isn't the one that is being trained, and you must have got, or you must have explored, you must have seen a lot of teachers who are not trained enough to be really good at communication. Now, let's move towards what are the things that are important and what are the things that can really help you out in being the effective communicator. The very first thing is the teacher's personality. Aristotle has given three important factors and that enhance a person's ability to impact. So not only speaking, not only listening, but to be an impactful teacher in the classroom is really the key skill to be an effective communicator in the class. The very first is ethos. Ethos is the personal character of the speaker. So the way you look like, the way you talk, the way you sit, everything is the ethos. The second is pathos, that is the use of emotion. So I remember one of my teacher who used to be there, and whenever she was inside the class, we all used to feel very much energetic just because she was so super active. And whenever she was delivering the lecture, she used to roam around the class. So we keep on switching our eyes from place to place, so that makes us very much energetic. So that is the use of emotion actually. The third is the logical and the rational nature of the message, that is the logos. Nowadays, the students are very much sharp. They know, they already have enough knowledge of the subject. So you need to make sure whatever knowledge you are delivering, that is basically logical as well as rational. Moving towards the strategies for effective communication in the classroom, I am going to share 7 strategies with you all. So the very first strategy is positive motivation, which means to create a safe learning environment with positive relationships and inculcating enthusiasm and removing the fear and inhibition in the child. So it has been really proven that supportive relationships between students and the teachers have a very positive impact on class engagement. um I remember one of my teacher who used to be there. Whenever she was in the class, we used to be quiet because we know like maybe she is fasting or she is not having a good day. So we used to communicate with her in this way. We used to be very much supportive to her, and the reason was that she used to have a very good positive relation with us. What happened with the positive motivation is that you get to know more about your students, and you show them that the safe environment, and you show them, you make sure that there is no judgment in the class, there is no humiliation in the class. So of course, when there is no judgment, no humiliation, students feel positive. And it is a good idea to learn a student's name early in the year. This is the technique that you can use in order to make sure that you are moving towards positive motivation. I remember when I used to teach, I used to have around 35 to 40 people in my class. But if any one of them comes up to me right now, I can even recall the name. So I was very good at remembering the names. And this is important too, just because it makes them feel positive and motivated. You should have an open door policy for your students so that they can come to you and they can talk to you about any issues, anything that they are facing. And they you need to make sure that you are being empathic and you are being caring whenever you are interacting with them. And don't tell them off for not understanding, and don't ridicule their thoughts and ideas. It is very difficult to get the ideas, to get the thoughts from the students in the class. So make sure that you are not ridiculing them. Additionally, there are sometimes a lot of students in a class like that who are really very shy when it comes towards speaking. When you ask them to stand up in front of the class, they are not able to talk and they feel very much shy. So To make them feel, what you can do safer is that you can move towards a scaffolding technique. Now, what is a scaffolding technique? Is there anyone who can tell me what is a scaffolding technique? Okay, don't know. No issue. All right. Do you know what is a scaffolding technique? Okay, let me tell you. A scaffolding technique is that you are helping the other person to speak by giving them the sentence starters. So, a lot of teachers do that in this way, that when they're in the class and they are asking any student who is shy, they are asking them to speak. They are asking them to, they are just giving them a few sentence starters to make them feel safer doing so, and making them able to speak. So, forced participation is usually unnecessary. It is likely that quieter students have excellent listening skills and are learning just as much despite not sharing their own thoughts. But still, what you can do here is that you can move towards the scaffolding technique. But instead of, okay, someone is saying that incentives can also play a very important role for motivation. Yes, that's a very good point. Incentives play a very important role for motivation. Moving forward towards the next technique, and it is team formation. Now, team formation basically helps in mutual understanding of the students as well as the teacher. So, the teamwork and the group discussions contribute to make the classroom a more comfortable environment. By working in small groups, students are able to share their ideas more easily. They may shy speaking in front of the whole class, but they may not shy speaking to their friends, speaking in a smaller group. And these activities basically give them a good opportunity to ask questions and get the feedback on their work, and which leads to, of course, the effective communication between you and the better understanding of the lesson as well as the academic benefits. Now, moving towards the third skill. The third strategy for effective communication in the classroom is the effective body language. And the body language is, of course, the gestures, the body movement, like you never sit and teach and you kept on moving in the class, you are making a very good eye contact. I remember when I used to teach, I used to teach basically English language. So when I used to teach, it was my rule that I never ever sit in my class unless and until I am really sick. But I used to roam around the class to make everybody feel motivated, everybody feel active in my class. And I remember that I always used to get this compliment that, Miss, you are really active, and just because of you we are all active in this class. We are so much motivated for the class. So as we have discussed earlier, in the myths and realities as well, that communication is not only verbal, but it is also non-verbal. So you should ensure that the signals you are giving out through your body language are positive, confident, and engaging. It's not only that you are speaking and the others are listening, but you are taking their feedback as well. So for example, making the eye contact with your students when you are talking to them. All right, there is a question at chat box and I'll be replying to it. Yes, just hold on. So whenever you are making the eye contact and talking to them shows that you are being supportive and alternative. What I used to do with my students at that time, basically I used to have students of a variety of ages. Some were like adults, some were teen. So what I used to do, that I used to talk to them in a very light and polite tone. I used to stand beside them to make them feel comfortable, and I used to make good eye contact with them, and I used to be always pleasant with them. And what can be the alternative of body language in an online class? That's a very good question raised by Ms. Farba Sayed here. So let me answer you. The alternative for the body language in an online class is your tone, is your intonation that you are saying. For suppose if you are listening to any audio and there is no intonation pattern being used, then how you can make sure that you'll be interactive? let's take an example of a song, that there is a different pattern in the song, like sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's fast, and you enjoy it. But for suppose if it's in a flat pace or if it's monotonous, then how you are going to get it? This is how you can use your body language. This can be your non-verbal gesture in an online class, and this is how you can involve your students. Okay, yes. So facial expressions and definitely the delivery of lectures should be attractive. Moreover, your non-verbal gesture in the online class is your content and the PowerPoint too. Okay, someone is saying that songs can be really motivated for the kindergarten level. Well, that's nice. I remember I have just seen a video recently on Facebook, and it was just like I don't know, the chemistry teacher was there, and he was just talking. He was just delivering the lecture in song, and the students were really enjoying it. And I'm damn sure whoever had seen that, they must have enjoyed. So yes, that's a really very good technique. Okay. All right, Aspa. Yes. So, what can be effective in your online session? What can be your non-verbal gestures? The non-verbal gestures are the content that you are preparing. So, recently I was just reviewing a demo video, and what the teacher has done is that the teacher has played a sort of game, and that was a sort of very good interactive video at the end of the session. So that was really interactive and motivating, and that was to make sure that whatever she has talked or whatever she has discussed in the last 20 minutes, that is being understood or not. So for suppose if that is being understood, it means that the student is able to play the game back. So that can be another technique in order to engage in online sessions. Moving forward towards the fourth strategy, that is understanding the students. So understanding the student is really very important. The listening component of communication should not be overlooked, and over 60% of the misunderstandings results from poor listening. It's not only about, okay, someone is saying that my voice is coming low. So is that really low? Please let me know. uh, can you please let me know if my voice is low? Okay, it's clear. It's clear. Not low. It's fine. Okay, it's fine, right? Okay. Maybe you can change your device. Right. Okay. So moving towards the understanding the students. So understanding the students mean that you are preferring the dialogue over monologue. So a lot of teachers do this thing that they are just talking and talking and talking. They need to have the idea from the student too. They need to allow the students to raise their hand to ask a question even in the middle of the lecture. The second is you need to make sure that there is an active listening, and you should always pause before and after asking a question. This is a very good technique and very, very, very useful for the teachers who are adult. It is like you should pause before asking a question. So when you are pausing before asking a question, this is basically giving a chance to you to give it a thought to it. And maybe you cannot you can rephrase it. Okay, someone is saying that my screen is not sharing. Can you all see my screen, please? Let me know if you all can see my screen. There is a participant named Kartikeyan Belis. May I know where are you from, please? Okay, my screen is visible to all. Okay, let's move forward. So we were talking about pausing before and after asking a question. So what is pausing before? When you are pausing before asking a question, that is basically giving you a chance to rephrase your content, right? So this is how you can make sure that you are asking a very useful question. The next is and after asking a question. Why you need to pause after asking a question? Just because when you are pausing, it is giving chance to the students to give a thought to it, whatever the teacher has asked. Let's move forward towards the another strategy, and it is the feedback. That is the very, very, very important part of any lecture, and that actually makes sure that the effective communication is being taking place in the classroom. As I'm working as the academic coordinator, I have worked as the counselor as well, so I know that a lot of the students come up with this query whenever the online learning is taking place, that the lectures are okay, the teacher is okay, but they are not getting the feedback, so they don't know that how much they are scoring and they are really scoring good or not. So you need to make sure that the feedback is being given in the class. What can be the phases that can enhance the students positive nature? That is like good job or beautiful. They can really motivate your students because they do not understand what they are specifically being praised for, while overpraising can cause children to lack interest in situation where they are not being praised. So make sure you are praising the student at the right time and you are not overpraising it. And as a result, you should give a specific, deserved, positive feedback. If the student deserves it, only then give it. There is another feedback, that is the negative feedback, and it is being used more often in the classroom than the positive feedbacks. One of you can say the misunderstanding or the drawback or maybe the frustration of the teacher is that she or he is being negative in the class. So make sure you're not giving the negative feedback, and even if you are giving the negative feedback, you are giving it in a productive way. Many researchers have argued that this should not be the case. While negative feedback can help students to improve, for example, by changing their behavior or trying harder at a task, it does not contribute to the conflictual relationships between students. And it has also been suggested that it can cause lower levels of academic success. Okay, someone is saying that complete silence in class with blank faces, right? So you should ensure that you use negative feedback only sparingly. For general classroom management, using positive feedback to illustrate the behavior that you want to see is much more effective. In situations where you do have to use negative feedback, you should explicitly address the student to think about morality. Okay, so how you can say about it? You can say like instead of saying that don't do that, you can go for saying that I don't think it is safe, right? Instead of saying that you were wrong, you can say that are you doing the right thing? You can seek refuge to morality, or and you can also use a simple form of no. Example, no, like this. And these techniques increase the effectiveness of negative feedback and decrease the detrimental impact that it might have. So you should give opportunity to the student. All right, someone is saying that feedback should always be constructive as it always helps them building their self-esteem potentially. Yes, the feedback is always feedback should always be constructive, whether positive or negative. Make sure it is constructive. Right. So the final note is that you should also give students the opportunity to give you feedback or your lesson, just like I am right now making it sure that I am being listened, I am being watched by you all. You all should make sure that you are being clear to the student. You should allow the student to talk about you. You should allow the student to give them feedback to you that whether you were being understood during the class and what about your teaching style, so that the communication between you and them is positive. Let's move towards the another strategy, and that is the sense of humor. So the sense of humor in the classroom has been found to increase learning as well as self motivation and positive relationship between you and the student. So it basically allows you to establish a rapport in your class and keep them interested in the lesson. For example, you might tell jokes or funny anecdotes or give lighthearted personal examples or laugh at a student's own jokes, right? So, however, you should ensure that you don't use negative humor in the class where you can feel that the student can feel embarrassed or you are demeaning someone. So, make sure you are not doing it. Let's move towards the last strategy. All right, so the last strategy is the technical skills. Okay, someone is saying that keep engage the student. Yes, so keep engaging the student, right? Technical skills are very much important, and nowadays it has been taken as for granted by the teachers. I have explored it in the training sessions at various schools of because I'm from like Pakistan, Karachi, so I've explored it there, that the teachers were not up to date in terms of the teaching it. They don't really know how to deliver lecture through multimedia. They don't know how to prepare a PowerPoint. They don't know how to share the online resources. What you can do here is that you can make yourself more updated into the teaching aids, and trust me, it's not that much difficult. You may have felt. What you can do here is that you can go for the video sessions. You can share the online resources. That is basically a way of reinforcing their understanding in your lectures, and it can also increase the effectiveness of your communication with the students with different learning styles. So you know that there are three different learning styles. One is kinesthetic, one is verbal, and the other is visual. So a lot of people are not like that. They are not able to get your message through your verbal skills, but they are going to get your message through any visual representation. So you can use a visual representation, and there are the people who need kinesthetic approach. A lot of people are here like who are working into the Montessori field, and when it comes towards particularly Montessori field, then there the students are being encouraged for the practical skills. That is the kinesthetic skill. So you are allowing the students to use the toys, you are allowing the students to draw something with their hand, you are allowing the students to teach like how to hold a napkin or how to cut something. That is very important. So what you can do for the online resources is that there are a lot of free websites available on internet. Maybe like for suppose if you are teaching, let's say IELTS, you can share an online resource where you can go and attempt a test for free. If you are teaching maths, you can share a resource where there is a game related to maths or the sum that you have taught. Or maybe you have taught any particular topic of science, so you can search a video on Google that can be funny, that can be a sort of game too, and you can share it with the students. So this basically tells the student that you are also up to date with the teaching aids, and you are also up to date with the technical skills. It is not only going to improve your skills, but it is going to improve the students skill as well. So let me have the final note from your side. Okay, someone is saying that animated videos are best. So yes, for kindergarten, it is very good. For early years education, okay, there is someone is sharing a resource and it is EYEI, early years education. Okay, there is a course and people can sign up for that, right? All right, so what do you think? I have told you 7 strategies up till now. So what do you think, that is it as easy as it is said? So would you be people able to follow all these strategies or not? I would like to have your review. Not all. Okay. Not all, right, that's fine. You can go for following one, two, or three. We can try. Of course, we all are here to learn, so we can try. Most of the time, no. We can try. We can follow some of these effectively, yes. If you are using any one of them, that would be really an achievement for the session. Try as much as possible. Few of them, I have used some. That is great, Miss Ashra. Okay, I will try use some of these strategies in a combination. Yes, you can go and you can make your own combination. Okay, someone is saying like YouTube videos, that's great. You can move towards YouTube videos. That is the easiest way. Of course, no one is perfect. We all can try. Well, we can't be really perfect for communication because communication varies from person to person. It's not only about in the class, but it's also about outside the class with your family, with your friends, and with your relatives. Yes, combination is the best. Hope so. You people would be able to make the most of it. I am going to share a checklist with you all. Here we go with the checklist, and you all are required to answer it with yes and no. So let's say the first question is, I establish a positive relation with the students, respect, courtesy, friendship. So if it's a yes, write it yes and write no. So you all are required to write yes and no on a paper with you. All right. So you all are required to answer it on a paper, and then I'll be sharing a poll where you will be sharing your score, that how many yes and how many no. I am giving you 5 minutes for this. Okay, so a lot of you are writing yes and no. Let me launch the poll right now, and I would like to have the answer in the poll so that I can really calculate um, your skills. Okay, Mr. Anis, you are required to answer in the poll. Okay, someone is asking for the effective techniques for online exam. Okay, let me share it right after the session. Just let me finish up with the poll. I'll be telling or discussing a few techniques. No, Mr. Anis, it's not about checking. It's just like it's your own self check. Okay, there are still a few who hasn't voted. I am waiting for the response. I'll be waiting for 30 more seconds, and then I'll be closing the poll. Okay, someone is asking about the duration of the session. I didn't get your question, Miss Sayyida Mariam. Can you please reply? Can you please elaborate? Four responses are left in the poll. I'm waiting for those four. Okay, someone is asking for sharing the PowerPoint. This session will be uploaded on the YouTube, so you can view the PPT there. Okay, so some of the responses are still remaining. 85% of you have already answered, and I am waiting for the last few responses so that I can end the poll. All right, so let me end the poll now. And the result is that 75% of you people are really very good at communication. So those who have answered and they have got the score that is 12 plus, it means they are good at communication. The ones who have answered and who have got the score that is 8 plus, it means that they have average skills of communication. And the ones who who have got the answer that is less than 8, so it's like they are not that much good at communication and they need some improvement. So this checklist was actually to tell you how much effective you are at teaching and how much effective you are while communicating in your class. That's it from our side. Now you can go for the questions if you have any. Let's discuss. Okay, so there was a question regarding online exam. Yes. So what can be the some effective techniques for online exam? What you can do here is that you can ask the student to sit in front of the camera. You can ask the student for the camera to be turned on, and you can communicate with the parents too to keep an eye on them. You can check the paper through annotating the PDF online. There are a lot of websites available for that. You can go for that. There can be the online quiz option, and there are a lot of sites that are available for this. You can simply ask them to go for a test on an online resource and then submit the result, or maybe submitting the uh, screenshot of that result with you. Okay, can you tell about duration of the session? I didn't get your message, Mariam. Okay, yes, this session is certified. Yes, this session is certified. I'll be sharing a link of the feedback form, and I'll be sharing a link of the quiz. You all are required to attempt that quiz, and the passing marks are 5. So for suppose if you got around 5 or 5 plus marks, you all will be getting a certificate via an email. Okay, Miss Astra is saying that I'm doing masters in ECCE and your PPT and this session helped me in my learning. Well, that's really very good to know. I have already said that I'm really glad to be a part, to be the host of this session. Okay, so I have excellent teachers, but learning is an ongoing. Yes, learning is an ongoing process. That's indeed. Okay, there is a question how to deal with the students online who have anger problem. Students who have anger problem or teachers who have anger problem? This needs to be clear, Miss Komal. Okay, maintaining eye contact. How to get the certificate? Well, you are just required to attempt the quiz. That the link I'll be sharing in the chat box. You are required to attempt the quiz, and then you will be getting the certificate on your email. Okay, maintaining eye contact is equivalent to turning on videos in an online session. Yes, that's right. It is very effective session. Thank you so much. It will be helpful in online classes. That's great. Students while giving them online class. Okay, you are saying that students who are having the anger problem, you can be polite to them. Don't try to be strict to them. Try to maintain a friendly relationship with them to deal with their anger. or you can maybe know about themselves, like maybe they are facing some issues in their friends and family. You know that we all have such students who are deprived of a lot of facilities in the world. So you can go and ask to them, you can talk about these issues in order to make them feel and in order to make them feel motivated and comfortable. Okay, thank you so much, wonderful session, thank you. Okay, how to conduct online examination? As I've already said, that you can ask the student to be in front of the class, or you can be in front of the camera. You can ask the student to turn on the camera, turn on the mic. You can also ask the parents to keep an eagle eye on them. Okay, what's the main points to focus for an effective communication with the students during online? Well, I have shared a lot of strategies. You can take anyone as the answer. I always wonder if it's okay to involve in personal lives of children. You need to make sure that if the student is comfortable at sharing their personal life, you can. Like I remember my teacher, she used to provide free of cost counseling session to all the students. Maybe if we are dealing with any issue with our lives, that can be academic as well as personal, we used to discuss with her, and she used to solve our issues too. Okay, nice info as I have received. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, let me share the link with you all. All right, so I have shared a link with you all, and you all are required to provide the feedback regarding the classes, regarding the session, and okay, and you all are required to attempt the quiz in order to get the certificate. Have you all got the links? Please reply with the yes in the chat box. Yes, you all need to attempt to get the certificate. You can attempt it in half hour, and you'll be getting the certificate in a week. All right, so moving towards the final remarks, that I hope this training session has helped you explore the keys to effective teaching, and I really assure you are going to impact the success students achieve in their academics as well as your own teaching experience. Thank you so much, everyone, for being the nice audience to me. Thank you.